Good morning. Well, diversity has always been an issue that has raised acrimony and brotherly love, that has raised political dissensions and given rise to political correctness. The recent election of Donald Trump has brought this issue to the fore once again. The people have been saying that he is not our president. The people have been saying that his cabinet consists of only the white men. Has an allied issue of diversity, that why the other people, the people of color, the blacks and the brown skinned people are not in the team as yet. But that's jumping the horse. Let's come to Canada. Because at present, let's confine our attention to the issue of diversity in this country and its repercussions on the people here. Recently, a study was undertaken and the results were startling. The results very clearly show that 62% Canadians in this year, in 2016, want integration of the diversity rather than emphasis on diversity as separates. And only 32% want diversity as it's being practiced today. Now, this is a sea change from 1993, when 59% wanted integration. Why this change? Let's imagine the number of the people coming in the country is increasing. The visible minorities are increasing. And the elections are decided more by the immigrants, the new Canadians, rather than by the third generation, fourth generation Canadians. Then how is it that now more people want integration and less people want diversity as it's practiced today? Now, this has repercussions at higher level, at different levels. Imagine Europe. Europe was a monolith of the white supremacy. Europe was a country which had ruled the world, was a continent, and its colonial powers were England, Spain, Portugal, France, Netherlands. And it was out and out a monolith where it was only the whites who ruled. But slowly, the whole situation changed. First, the people from the countries which were ruled by the colonial powers went to Europe. Secondly, with the wave of globalization and with a demographic change, as happened in Canada, people started moving. One country which has resisted immigration is Japan. And of course, China and Soviet republics, all of them discourage immigration. But the free world has been open to immigration, with the result that the whole country has become a disparate collection of diverse entities. Not that there's anything bad with that, but then that breeds a sense of alienation at times. Now, as I said earlier, 62% of the Canadians, whether they are Canadians originally, or they are the first generation Canadians, or the new PRs, want integration. They don't want to have anything to do with so-called diversity or multiculturalism. Then why is it that the people don't want it? You see, there is an expectation. When you move to a country, you move with the expectation of better prospects. Economic reasons are the primary reason for moving. And those reasons do not fructify if they are division. You see, that talk of Canadian experience, Canadian system, was a mechanism to keep the others out. But slowly and steadily that's changing. And the immigrants also feel that by stressing their separateness, they are creating a sense of alienation and sense of isolation. And that is why you would find that the second and the third generation of the immigrants are more proactive than anybody else in the national issues. And that's the reason when the people are amazed that whenever a study is undertaken, the new Canadians are always more vocal. They are more loyal than the king, as the saying goes. Now, the issue is that with this sort of a diversity that is happening here, what happens at the political level? Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau won laurels and kudos all around when he included 4 Sikhs in his cabinet. And he was very proud to say that he had more Sikhs in his cabinet than the Indian Prime Minister had. But he forgot one major factor, that India has 1.25 billion population. Canada has hardly 35 million. And not only that, his appointment of the Sikhs was not based primarily on merit, but on political considerations. While the Indian Prime Minister has to cater to more than 1,000 different groups and nationalities, tribes, states, provinces, ethnic groups, not so ethnic groups. Here, the Canadian Prime Minister did not have to deal with it. India might look to be just Indians to an outsider, but with a country with more than 639 languages, I recently was told that the maximum languages are not here, but are in other countries. For example, in Papua Guinea is the largest number of languages spoken. India has officially 26 languages, unofficially more than 600 languages, dialects included. Anyway, coming back here, the issue of diversity rakes up every time, and it assumed very dangerous proportions because of Trump elections. No, appointment and cabinet is the prerogative of the Prime Minister, as is as that of the President of USA. So to demand that a person of color be appointed is ridiculous. Here, if Trudeau has not appointed a single Italian or a single Chinese, nobody's objecting. When you see, what's happening is that the proponents of diversity are in fact having a negative attitude. When Obama appointed 80% of the people of color and Muslims, nobody objected that the whites have been slighted. Whites did not. So why are the people of color and other communities now objecting? Although Trump is considering appointing people of the Indian origin as well, some Muslims as well, but it takes time. Anyway, coming to the issue, the dangers of diversity are very clear. It will promote divisiveness, it will create fractions, and it will create friction. As a matter of fact, diversity and too much emphasis on diversity puts roadblocks on integration and on progress. Kelly Leach's statement this time who is a contender for the conservative leadership, shows how the anti-diversity feelings are working. What right or wrong is something different. I'm not concerned at that. I'm more concerned with diversity. Should it be promoted? And looking at the need of the people, looking at the requirement of the people, and looking at the desire of the people as seen in this Fraser Institute's report, that 62% want integration. That's a fair game then. We are a democratic country. Why not say clearly that from this time onwards, we shall not have hybrid names? Once you come to Canada, you are a Canadian. And in the oft-repeated statement of Justin Trudeau, a Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian. Now, he made that statement in regard to the terrorists. Why can't he make a statement when he goes to the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, say, well, why? That Chamber of Commerce is okay. But why people call themselves Indo-Canadians, Pakistani Canadians, Italian Canadians, Greek Canadians? You know, in one of my talks at the Living Arts Center in Mississauga, I had said, I came to Canada in search of Canada, in search of the values of care and compassion, in search of the values of fraternal love. I did not come to the country inhabited by hybrid names. If I wanted to live in Punjab, I could have lived in Punjab, and why come to Brampton? If I wanted to live in a Muslim-dominated area, characterized by Muslim, I could have kept on living in Hyderabad. Why come to Mississauga? If I wanted to live in China, I could have gone to Hong Kong or Macau and lived there. Why come to Richmond Hill or to Chinese town? My search for the Canadians made me move to up north, where I live as a Canadian among the Canadians, where there's no baggage of my past, which is burdening me and my interaction with the fellow Canadians. And that is what is required. Fellow Canadians, not fellow Indo-Canadians, not fellow Pak Canadians, not fellow Italian Canadians. Diversity is good when it creates an understanding of your culture, your history, and then out of that interaction, you come to the conclusion that man, including women, whatever the caste, color of the skin, country of origin may be, has the same motivations. I'm reminded of what Shylock says when he says that you criticize Jews. Do we not laugh when we are tickled? Do we not weep when you prick us? So human beings have the same emotions, same feelings, same passions. To divide them, and when you talk of diversity, you are dividing them. People, when they came to Canada, did not think of diversity. They thought themselves to be Canadians. It's the politicians here who sought to create divisions in the ranks of those people and created this Frankenstein of multiculturalism and of diversity. I remember in India there was a lot of disputes, and we were brainstorming one day, and I told the Prime Minister, I said, ma'am, let's stop talking of diversity, unity in diversity. No. Let's talk of emotional integration. And that emotional integration became the watchword of the Indian policies, and that paid today. Right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, people are emotionally connected. That's what's required here. Emotional integration. I don't care what religion you observe, as long as religion is confined to your homes. I don't care what culture practice that you observe, as long as they don't impinge on society. But the moment any custom, any action, any ceremony has an impact on society, that is divisive. When the people say, "Merry Happy Holidays," I hate it. Why not Merry Christmas? You see, there's a responsibility for the newcomers that they should not be exploited under the garb of diversity. They should honor, respect, and integrate with the Canadian values, as they should with the American values. Otherwise, you have the absolute right to go back to the country where you came from. Diversity is being used as a tool to exploit the emotions of the people. Diversity is being used as a means to perpetuate your hold on you. It's a very refined form of divide and rule, the British policy. And now they've refined it. They don't say divide and rule. They say remain content in your own ghetto. Come out of your ghettos. Come to the country as large. And shall I be very impudent to say, to hell with diversity? I don't say sacrifice your culture. I don't say sacrifice your religion. Observe them if you want to. But do not let that be a stumbling block or a divisive wall. Let the diversity not be diversifying your attentions. We have to find unity in diversity and stop harping on this concept of diversity. People have spoken in this survey. Fraser Tank is very clear. Let the politicians stop talking of diversity. Let the federal and the provincial governments now think of the Canadians as Canadians rather than people having diverse aims, diverse thoughts, and diverse futures. Unity, emotional. That's the need of the hour.